recording live from Twitch TV. We're going to continue on here with our asset loading. We've got our asset locator finished yesterday, so I feel like we made some real nice progress there. So let's just jump right into it. So we're looking at the asset loader. Just have 6 functions to kind of flesh out, and we have our implementation here. Just need to create our test for it. So let's roll. CancelLoad, run, image, create. We need to know our package, which is assets, assets, asset, loader, test. There we go. And it's ready to go. We need to just mock it in. And we don't need that. Clearing out all our regular stuff. Asset loader. Asset loader equals new asset loader. Asset loader init. There we go. And test should load image asset by name. And what we'll need to do, because the way the compilation on CA works, we need to sort of abstract out, or we need to sort of do some conditional stuff. If test public function, say like get assets, make this dynamic for the test, and we'll just return, actually we'll say mock asset loader, or mock assets, mock CA assets. I'm going to create that in a minute, and then we'll do, what is that, funky, else, image, function, get assets. This is going to be the CA assets. And we're just going to return match. CA assets. And here, I'm going to return. So I wonder if we can do this. We can do grb, actually make it public so we can inject it for our test. Mock CA assets equals new. There we go. And now we just need to create that in our mocks, just like we usually do. File. Packs. Package. Mocks. And that's it. I'm going to fill in the functions as we need them. Alright. Now, we need to make this package here. There we have it. Okay, so we've got our assets, and we just need to write our test for it. We should say asset loader, load image, foo, and we'll have our function callback, which is our image asset. No, it's resource, right? Check our API. Resource. And we have one weird thing that I just totally passed by. This is not an asset loader. This is a CA assets asset loader. There we go. And then the we should be able to, actually we need to make our mock assets. mock ca assets, and wheel assets mock ca assets, and we'll just do asset loader mock ca assets. And then make this a resource. Our cd called boolean cd called true. Okay. What is our resource? So resource is our status and our data. So what we need to do is assert our equal is our resource status. Resource status is okay. Resource status. And then assert our equal. We'll create a private var image. Doesn't really matter because it's always dynamic, right? We've got our resource, it's dynamic. And we're just going to mock that. Actually, we're going to call this resource data. Let's call data. Data equals mock. Don't even need that. Alright, so our equal is that our data is our resource data, and assert is true that our callback was called. So we got our callback, and then we did our assertions. That should be all we need. We need to do one more thing. We need to mock out our assets, and kind of, I wouldn't say cheat, but I'm just going to go here to live game, and it's just make sure I put API right. Assets load image. Okay. So we're going to go to our mock 2D assets function, load image, name, string, and this is going to be complete dynamic void public function. And now our test assets of image foo cast any calls this function is our args. Just auto resolve it, and we're going to call args1, which is our second argument here, which is our function we want to call. This is going to return our data, and that'll do it. That should be our failing test case. Mock assets, not a constructor, so we'll get our test to fail and complete it. So here's our one fail. And here we go. We're in business. So load image, get assets. Actually, no, we could do, which I like, is we're going to inline these. Get assets, load image, image name, and we'll do hard part about this is, let's go back to our live game, is, I think it's in our playground. Where did we load our images at? Actually, I think that's under our game entities. Nope. Wow. Oh, here we go. Load image. And that gives us gives us an image. Gives us an image. Okay. So let's do this. Load resource. Image name. And I'm going to pass the incomplete to it. No. Function. Actually, yeah. Pass the incomplete. And so now, we'll let the function load resource. It's not going to be async. Image name string resource. And async cat assets load image, our image name. And what we can do is, this is our image. Let's see if it'll auto resolve that way. I think that will work. Okay. And then we're going to return status is resource status. Okay. And our data, which is our image. Let's always preserve our image. Okay. Line 20. Oh, we need to wait. There we go. Fantastic. So we passed. And so let's continue on. Test. Should load sound asset by name. And now effectively the same thing, which is going to be load sound. And it's going to be load sound. And that is basically it. So we're going to go to this. Load sound, and that should be our failing case. Do that. Now what we need to do is, I think we need to pass the function So there's kind of two ways we can do this. We kind of don't want to repeat this. And also want to make it fast, but it is just loading resources. We shouldn't be doing that too much live, or it's going to affect our frame rate. So we could just say loader. This is going to be a dynamic void. And so this is just your name. Would be get assets, load sound, get assets, very functional here, load image. So now we await the loader. That should do it. Very functional approach. Line 20 is too many arguments. This is going to be string dynamic. There we go, passed. So now that's real dry. Let me move on to our next one. Should load text by name, load blob, load text here, and that should do it. So we need to implement this. Function load blob name string complete dynamic void, and now I'm just going to double check our display. Create frames runs through here, assets load blob, and there's our key. So this is the same API. So let's do, I think if we just run this, we'll get our fail. And we should probably just grab this here. There's our fail. Load blob. And here, instead of image, we're going to call this data. There we go. Coming along. All right. A couple of things that we need to keep track of is should not load the same asset twice concurrently. I think this happens synchronously anyways, but need to make sure that we don't do it anyways, so that if we ever change the implementation, these won't fail. So we'll just grab both of these, and here we're going to just store this callback. No, I think we should probably type it. This is going to be dynamic void, and now we're just going to assign it so we can call it later. And what we need to do is we need to set the callback count to 0. We don't need to know those or that. TB count So we're going to call load twice. And our equal is 2 CV count. And then we need to just verify that our assets load blob doesn't happen more than once. So foo cast any verify should only happen once. Same text asset twice concurrently. So if you only get the load blob once, the CV count will actually won't matter. So we're going to do this and make sure it's 0. So callback call get. And then we're going to call the callback data and then make sure our count incremented and this never changed. So now we're in control of the loading, and there we have it. Our failure is invoked 2 times. So we need to go to here, that's our test, and we're going to have a public var currently loading. Now, this is going to be a string. No, it's not. It's going to be map string. We'll call this a load definition. We're going to define that in a minute. Currently loading map equals new map string a loading definition. Type def equals load def. And we're going to have the key, the string, and the callback, which is going to be a dynamic void. So we can keep track of that later. So it's essentially just this here. These 2 pieces we're going to hold on to. And actually it's going to be a resource void, which is better. There we go. So now, when we go to load our resource, we're going to check to see if currently loading exists this image name already, which is not true anymore. Let's say key. So if it already exists, we're going to return. Can't just return. And the async. So what we might need to do is we might need to move this async out here. Function DoLoad, and this is going to be this same exact thing here. So now we don't break our existing API, and that's exactly this. So this will return, and I think this is going to work. Okay, so do load. Oh, we need our, what's our loader? We need our onComplete resource void. Here we go. We do our load, key, loader, and then our async will handle the rest. Then we're actually going to move this around, I think. So let's just add this here. Currently loading map set key on complete. Actually, we may need, actually this should probably be an array. So our list of load definitions. List of load definitions. And then if it exists, we'll get our load defs list load def equals currently loading map get key load defs add the what do we call it? Key and callback. Key is key, callback is on complete. So we add that to there. So now we have that loading. We need to add this to our DoLoad. So it's effectively this. Load defs. Actually this. New list load def. And we're going to do our currently loading map set key load defs. Now we're not going to, we don't need to return this as a resource. I think what we can do is our resource. Resource is this, and then we can actually grab our load defs list load def currently loading map get key for load def and load defs load def callback. I'm going to pass in the data. And then currently loading map remove key. So what we need to do is we need to validate that. As we're going to say, assert is false. Assets currently loading asset loader. Asset loader currently loading map exists foo. Okay. Asset loader line 26. This is not going to return resource, this is going to be a void. And then line 32, do load. I think I just want to do empty that. Alright, 4 errors. Okay, oh, we need to return the resource. Okay, we have 1 failure. Load blob was invoked 0 times, expected once. This is on line 101. So this one happened. I think after it verifies it, it resets it. We want to make sure it doesn't ever recall. There we go. It does pass. So we're out of time. So this is pretty much how this is going to roll for all 3 of these functions. In fact, they're already done because we kept it nice and dry throughout the all this. So we can do a quick cancel image, which essentially just kills that key with this. So we'll do that real quick, and then the rest just follows. So we can do those offline. Should cancel loading of an image. So it's essentially this. We'll do on the loading of text. Load blob foo, load text, we don't need that. So we know our callback. And then if we do load blob, load blob, say asset loader, cancel load text of foo, and then we call the callback data. We should assert are equal 0, so the CB count never increments. So that'll fail. I want to make sure that was alright fail, so value was 1. Okay, so now we're going to go to the asset loader, and we're going to cancel our load text, which is just going to do our currently loading map, remove key. That should do it. Oh, this gets a name. And that crashed. So what we need to do is we need to check this and see, before that even happens, I want to say if currently loading map exists key, if it doesn't exist, we're just going to short circuit right there. Oops. I hate when I do that. There we go, that's it. We got a passing, so now we'll just have to do the same thing for the other functions and it's ready to go. So this asset loader is pretty kind of quick and easy compared to the asset locator. Just has to keep track of the loading. So let's call it there. So git add test assets. Commit. Got the heavy lifting done with our asset loader. Okay, git push origin master. Get date. Get tag. Just to let you guys know, I'm going to be out all next week, so no cast next week. That's what we know. So we'll be back nice and strong in about a week and a half. So happy coding and have some fun, ask questions. I'll be back to finish this game off. So you guys have a great day, great week, and I'll see you soon.